attended our summer camp this summer and want to share with you a little bit about their experience. And I want to introduce Julia Clothier, who is the director of the Clem Miller Environmental Education Center, who has a heart as big as a river, and she shares it every day with these wonderful young people that we like to host at Clem Miller. Just very briefly, I want to share with you what happens out there. 350 children ages 7 to 16 attend Point Reyes Summer Camp every year. We will have about 80 scholarships for kids in 2011. 1,800 students and adults participate in overnight environmental education programs at the Ed Center throughout the school year. So there are a lot of people who go through that environmental education center, and I would like to turn it over to Julia so that they can have a little conversation and share that experience with you. Julia?
Good evening. We're so happy that you're here. And I wanted to just say to all of us sitting here that it's such a privilege we all share, knowing and loving beautiful wild places like Point Reyes. And we know deep in our bones that we have this connection to wildland that means everything to us. That walking through a forest or along a deserted stretch of beach brings a peace to us that no other experience does. And when we get to have those sorts of experiences, what happens is we start to feel a sense of connection toward and caring about and stewardship for beautiful wild places. For many of the young people that come to the Clem Miller Environmental Education Center for a stay, it's their very first experience with wildlands. And it's a life-changing experience. One thing that we know now, we just finished some research, is that participants in our program grow a budding sense of environmental stewardship after visiting Clem Miller. So together, the National Park Service, the Point Reyes National Seashore Association staff, and members and volunteers, what we are doing together is mentoring the next generation of environmental stewards. That's what we are doing together. And we thought it would be fun to invite these young stewards to share a little bit of how Point Reyes inspires them. So please join me in offering an enthusiastic and warm welcome to the next generation of young environmental stewards. So we're going to kind of do this interview style, and I'm going to ask some questions, and our fabulous young stewards are going to share some answers. So the first question I want to ask, if anybody would like to share, is there anything you did at Point Reyes Summer Camp that you will never forget? What's an unforgettable memory you have from Point Reyes Summer Camp? Zion.
The first year I went to Point Reyes Summer Camp, I went backpacking, and we went down to Limatour Beach, and when we came up and got our backpacks, raccoons ate our cookies.
Unforgettable. Anybody else? Xander.
My first year I went on the backpacking trip, and at night we sat around the campfire and played some games, and we just looked out over the ocean, and it was beautiful and magnificent.
Is there anything that anybody did for the very first time at Point Reyes Summer Camp that they wanted to share about? Natalie.
I went backpacking for the very first time at Point Reyes Summer Camp when I was 7.
And do you have a story to tell about it or something you remember?
I remember thinking it was going to be really hard when I learned that I was going backpacking, but then it was really fun and I've done it every year since.
And Sergio, do you have something to share?
The first year I came to Point Reyes, I went to Marshall and I found a shrimp with one big claw and a little small claw.
And Felipa, go ahead.
This year was my first year at Point Reyes Summer Camp, and it was my first year spending a night away from home. And in just a couple days, I felt like I was at home.
And Nico.
On my second year this past summer, I got to watch a hawk go after a mouse and take it apart on the ground.
Chris, go ahead.
My first year here, I went on an adventure called Meet the Giants, where you get to go to a park and see all the big redwoods. And we went down to this creek, and the teacher warned us. She said, "Oh, be careful because there's stinging nettle." And I was just messing around, and then I got stung twice.
So lots of memories to share. And, you know, summer camp's really fun, and we love it. We have crazy wild times and adventures, and we learn things. But I'm curious to know, what's the point of this program? You come to this camp, and do you have a sense that there's a bigger thing that we're trying to teach you about? And if so, what is that thing that we're teaching you about? Does anybody have an idea? Natalie, what do you think?
At summer camp, we learn about the environment and how to help the environment and take care of it so that we have the environment in a good condition many years from now.
Wow.
Sergio, go ahead.
To love nature.
Elizabeth.
I think Point Reyes Summer Camp helps us to care for the environment and to keep it clean and to love it, so we'll have it.
Thanks. Great. And Zion, go ahead.
I've learned to care for the environment in many different ways, because once somebody threw a plastic bottle inside the ocean and a tortoise choked on it thinking it was a jellyfish.
Jessalyn, can I ask you to share with everyone something you did for the very first time at Point Reyes Summer Camp?
My very first time was eating my first s'more at a beach.
So, we are really grateful to everyone for all the support that you give us. the financial support, but also you guys are leading the way for these young stewards. You're teaching us how to steward Point Reyes and beyond responsibly, and that our daily decisions matter. And we all wanted to say thank you to you, and several of us are going to say it in our own way. So, Xander, would you like to start?
Point Reyes Summer Camp really means a lot to me. I love coming back here year after year, and after each week, it feels like this group of strangers has become a family. And so I would like to thank you, and on behalf of everyone else at the summer camp, we'd like to thank you for your generous donations.
I would like to thank the donors that gave the people that didn't have money the chance to come to Point Reyes. Specifically myself, I got a scholarship and I got to get to experience a great week with a lot of people that are nice and caring for you.
I would like to thank everyone who donated money here tonight, because without you, a lot of kids, including myself, wouldn't be able to have the opportunity and share the experiences that we've had.
I'd like to thank you all for all your wonderful donations and for being such a great crowd, and this has been humiliating but fun. Where, Mom, I know you might think I'm exaggerating, but I just had the best week of my life.